Welcome to the channel. Come in, sit down, read a little bit about XRP and Travelex Bank, read a little bit about XLM and Velo protocol. I'll get right with you in a second.
I sure wish I could learn about futures trading and stock markets over here. Learn a little bit more maybe about.
You know what this is? These are articles on XRP and XLM. 99% of these articles are nonsense, but they're entertaining. They entertain me. You won't let me read them, so you entertain me with your nonsense. Go.
Okay.
Boom. Right. See, you never know. That's the point. You never know. Price could explode at any moment. Oh, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We should make a movie like that called Crypto Day. Like Training Day, Crypto Day. I'll play the main character, Auphlonso. We gotta pick one of you guys out there to play Ethan Hawke's character, Hoyt. We gotta come up with a cool name. So let's jump into a little bit of XRP news. I used to do that. Remember, you guys ever watched WWF back then, WWE, and Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, would do the New World Order thing, and he would say NWO is too sweet. How many of my old school people out there remember that? Anyway, so let's begin here. This is from Ripple.com. Let's just jump through this real quick because I know a lot of people already talked about this. Ripple partners with Travelex Bank to bring crypto-enabled payment solutions to Brazil. We know we're going to dominate in Brazil. Ripple is going to dominate in South America, in Brazil. Algorand has Coinbase. Coinbase has been making moves in Brazil. I believe we're going to dominate there as well. So Algorand is going to dominate there. We know Stellar was down there trying to set up infrastructures for CBDCs, and they entered a contest in Brazil. So Stellar, XLM, is going to dominate in Brazil. Oh, we're doing so good. Doesn't it feel good? Have some swagger in your shoulders. Doesn't it feel good to win? All the time. All the time. Oh, this is so good. So I wanted to just touch on that just very briefly. Just put that on people's table. I know a lot of people covered that already. So let's jump into some other news. Very brand new. Very brand new. What are you talking about, Alphany? What kind of language is that? This is from U.Today. Ripple lawsuit. 2 things that may impact crypto space in near future per Jeremy Hogan. Now, in this article, which is on U.Today, by the way, go over there, check them out. They're doing a great job. All right. They got some tremendous articles over there today. But in this article, I did not know that the library case, LBRY, which I watch a lot. I watch a lot of programs on LBRY. But anyway, which also a lot of you might know it as Odyssey. Their new iteration of LBRY is Odyssey. But anyway, I didn't know their case against SEC was coming to a close. But let's read this little tidbit here because this could be huge. According to attorney Jeremy Hogan, keep doing good, by the way, sir. You're doing a tremendous job. Thank you so much for everything you do. According to attorney Jeremy Hogan, the filing of opening motions in the Ripple summary judgment and the upcoming decision in the LBRY case are 2 events that might continue to impact the crypto space for years to come. The opening motions for summary judgment have now been filed as indicated by defense lawyer James K. Fallon. It says, here's a little tweet that he put here. It says, this is a huge week in crypto. The Ripple summary judgment briefs will be filed today, and a decision in the LBRY case is expected this week. If it's positive, hold on to your blazers. If it's positive, it will set a precedent. So hope for the best, prepare for the worst, These 2 things will affect the entire space for years to come, as reported by U.Today, who's doing a great job, by the way. Hogan took to Twitter earlier to highlight one key thing he hopes to see in the summary judgment briefings. Quote, the extent Ripple makes the comparison between XRP and ETH. Of course, like we've been saying that for a long time. That's going to be very, very important. Crypto law founder John Deaton also indicated that the unfavorable ruling for the SEC in the LBRY case could facilitate a settlement in the Ripple case. Boom! It's heating up. So much is happening. There's so much news. We have CBDC news coming from every major bank in the world right now with so much information. We can't cover it all. All the bank coins are on panels. They're talking to governments. They're talking to banks. The season of information is here. It's starting to heat up, everyone. We got the ETH merge. Oh man, so much is happening. Prepare yourselves just in case. Prepare. But keep your eyes and ears open for catalysts also. We got to adjust accordingly. You never know. You know, I was talking the other day, and I meant to say 100 basis points. I've been saying they should have raised it 100 basis points for a long time. My apologies. I misspeak from time to time. I did say 100. I also said 75. But I was saying 75 in reference to, like, I think a lot in terms of not just the United States. When I think of the West, I think of Europe as well. And Europe dragged their feet a long time on raising their interest rates. A long time. Now, I say rip off the Band-Aid quickly. So that's why I'm saying watch the catalyst, because if they choose to crush the economies like they're going to have to in order to bring inflation, which I believe they're grossly underestimating it and putting out numbers that are much lower than what they should be, because I think people are seeing, especially business owners, certain types of business owners are seeing that the inflation is hitting them much harder than what the percentage that the governments are saying that is at least in the United States. So 100 basis points and a more rapid and aggressive raising of rates is what should have already happened. That's what I was trying to say. But if they do that, they will crush the economy. People will lose their jobs. All this bad stuff will happen. But the markets, more importantly for us, the markets would take a hit. This is why people weren't happy with the CPI data that they saw the other day. They're anticipating certain things because they're wise and they're logical. And I think a lot of people that are still trading and investing now are some of the wisest people, and the wisest people tend to be the strongest. That's why they have remained. I think a lot of the other people, you know, no disrespect at all, but a lot of the weaker people in the markets, I think they were gone for a while. Those fly-by-night people that just come in for a quick money grab and they're pretty much gambling, they don't really know anything, I think they're out of it. So what you're seeing is the motion and activity of a lot of wise individuals that are preparing just in case, depending on what the Fed and what what the governments in Europe, the central banks in Europe decide to do. Everyone's sort of staying on their toes and taking precautionary measures, which is wise in my humble opinion. But let's get back here, okay? We have a lot to cover, so I'm going to jump around. Appreciate you being here. Things are looking good right now. Prepare for anything, but things are looking good right now. Let's continue on here. It says Jeremy Hogan is also enthusiastic about the September 19th date, as indicated in the party's joint scheduling proposal on sealing issues related to the upcoming summary judgment. I'm very interested to see what happens with this LBRY case. So that was news to me. That's something we need to stay up to date on. I'm going to look a little deeper into that. And hopefully things go well. We could use a positive precedent, and we could use more leverage against the SEC. I want a victory over them so bad. I could taste it. I could feel it. And we're almost there, so we'll stay up to date on that. Okay, so let's move forward here a little bit. Volante Technologies is at it again. Let's read this little tidbit. It's heating up with the digital dollar. Remember, M-Tech, the esteemed Carmel Cadet, is on the job with the digital dollar, Hedera, H-Bar, okay? And you have Ripple working on a digital dollar, Faster Payments Council, and they're on the Faster Payments Task Force. If you haven't looked into that, make sure you do. Then, let's read this little tidbit from Volante Technologies. It says, we are looking forward to connecting with fellow industry peers at the FPC Fall Member Meeting. We need to be on the lookout for transcripts from this. Any PDF or transcripts they put out, we want to know what they're talking about. This could be impactful. But let's continue on. Industry peers at the FPC Fall Meeting member. I'm saying that so you can write that down, put it on your calendar. Join Volante's Carrie Blankenship Thursday afternoon at 2:15 CT for the Faster Payments Operational Implementation Panel. Any information, everyone, that we can get out of this, squeeze out of this, glean from it, could be very significant. Major things are happening. When I said the season of information was here, I remember how it was going last year. I never expected this much to be happening. There's so many panels. We're going to get flooded with information. And I'm very happy to be a part of the Bankcoin family, where everyone's doing their part. Everyone's been putting out great videos and information, and we need it. And I'm glad to see a lot of up and coming channels also covering good information as well. We're going to need it because there's so much information coming out. We need to get this stuff out to the people and continue to do our best as researchers. And I think everyone's been doing a fantastic job, in my humble opinion. Which makes sense, because I think only the strong are left. I think a lot of other people, they ran away because the market's been red for so long. They just left. They just gone. I think only the strong is left. The strong people are left, and they've been doing a fantastic job. You know, so let's continue on here. This one is from zcrypto.com, and it goes as such: buy the dip sentiment continues to wane in the face of consistent market slumps following U.S. CPI data releases. So let's just read a little tidbit here. But I think this goes with what I was saying before. People are taking precautionary measures. They see what's to come. So you have like a lot of positives. We also have some negatives because of the Fed, because of the central banks outright in Europe, in the United States. They've been doing a terrible job, and they're going to have to, you know, take some drastic actions because they took so long, you know, to take actions that now anything they do aggressively, a little more aggressive than what they've been, would be devastating, right? Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, in a tweet on Wednesday, on-chain analytics firm Sentiment Feed disclosed that traders are showing little interest in buying the dip, despite significant drops in market prices following the U.S. inflation data release. Notably, mentions of buying have dropped considerably since the U.S. Consumer Price Index data release. Quote, after yesterday's big drop, crypto traders are showing signs of being numb to sudden drops from inflation-related scares. The amount of interest in buying is notably small now compared to when prices were rising 3 days ago, indicative of FUD. End of quote. The trend of declining interest in buying the dip is quite significant. I want to say this. I want to interject briefly. Listen. I can't speak on the stock market and all the other different markets as of now, you know, volatility index trading and all that stuff. I can't speak on that. But I know in crypto, listen, people have, there's a lot of people who have bought all that they want to buy. Like there's a limit to what they want to do. I mean, maybe you're just talking about day traders, but I think a lot of crypto right now that's still in right now, I think they're investors. They're long-term holders in utility coins. I think that's what you're seeing here. So you get to a point, a lot of people, they get to a point where they feel like they have enough. There's people with tons of coins, tons of bank coins. And they know, doing the calculations, that it doesn't even take a crazy price at this point for them to be wildly rich or wealthy. It doesn't take an insane price at this point. So I think a lot of people are just holding. They're satisfied. They're staying, you know, up to date on catalysts, you know, all the news and things of that nature. And I think that's what you're seeing here. And they're just going to hold, you know. So I think that's what's happening. Also, you know, well, let's read this little tidbit. Let's continue on here. It says, the trend of declining interest in buying a dip is quite significant, as it can signal that we are in the latter stages of a bear market. According to the current Bitcoin's Greed and Fear Index reading of 27, the market is in fear. It has dropped 7 points in the last 12 hours. The market is always in fear. For the longest time. You got to adjust and just normalize the stuff after a while. Notably, the latest U.S. CPI release by the Labor Department shows that inflation rose by 8.3% year on year and 0.1% month on month. The new figures exceeded economists' expectations by 20 basis points, making market participants significantly risk off in anticipation of higher rate hikes. That's what I said before. The Fed has to take action. They have to. They messed up. They know they're going to get blamed for it, and it's going to be bad on every level for them, as it should be. They should be punished, and hopefully they'll learn from this. If not, then, you know, well, there's something I was going to say. I won't say. I'll be kind. We're not going to don't ever use that word nice. Know the etymology of words. And we're not nice. Understand. We're going to be kind to them. Let's just say that. We're going to keep certain positive energies around us. BeingCrypto.com. Recession versus depression. That's the article title right here. Let's read a little bit about this, because I've been saying for a while, listen, they're trying to avoid putting us into a full-on deceleration period, okay? Deflation period, by raising basis points too aggressively. They're going to have to, when they do that and they crush the economies and put it into a full-on deflationary period, which is horrible. It's already been happening. All these companies been laying off people left and right. The media has been keeping it quiet. But if you look into it, Tesla laying off people, Facebook's been laying off people, all these companies been laying off people. Hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs already, and we haven't even entered full-on deflationary period. We're just at the beginning of it. So that will lead you right into a depression. This is why they're saying now, well, we might be in perpetual stagflation. Perpetual stagflation is depression. In my humble opinion. I mean, there's people out there that know much more than I do, and maybe they can add a little bit more. We have a lot of brilliant people, subscribers. They put brilliant stuff in the comment section, brilliant stuff on Twitter. They're making major moves, so they definitely can inform you if I misspeak or something like that, or if they have more information. Trust me on that. Okay, so now let's read this little tidbit. When central banks and governments start to announce new economic policies and people are faced with unemployment, what did I say before? What did I say? Faced with unemployment, the struggles of everyday life start to become more real than ever. That has been happening. Recession and depression are terms that are used interchangeably in such situations. I mean, I wouldn't disagree, but let me read a little further before I do. Let's talk about what happens when our economy faces significant declines and compare them to past financial crises. After learning about past economic depressions and recessions, you'll be able to define a recession and understand its effects if it spreads across the economy. What is a recession? What causes a recession? Two characteristics of a recession. Recession versus depression. Okay, so these are like the little tidbits here. So let's just jump into the article actually. Most financial organizations define a recession as an economic downturn that causes a decline in economic activity. Usually recessions are measured in months. Keep that in mind. Months. Generally, governments define a recession as an economic downturn after a period of 2 consecutive quarters with a negative GDP. 2! How many quarters has it been? They want to change the definition of recession. Can you even believe that? They tried that. And you know, the sad part is that they thought they could get away with that, knowing it shows you that they know that they have sway over the minds of many people. At least they thought they did. They thought they did. They grossly underestimate how people can reject certain information and rebel against certain authority figures when the suffering of the people is high enough. Oh yes, the suffering, the lash of the belt of the economy. Oh, it wakes people up and they start questioning. Wait a minute. That's not what a recession is. Wait a minute. We are suffering. Wait a minute. People are losing their jobs. They start asking questions, and they should. They should. Let's continue on here. I want to scroll down because I want to get to the depression aspect of this here, right? I want to put this, I want this information out there. Let's see if we can actually find it here. Okay, depression. Depression refers to a severe economic downturn. This is not severe. Also, given other factors involved, like the lack of certain resources or access to those resources, certain policies that are limiting resources that are going to cause people to have a massive amount of problems in the upcoming seasons. That also adds exponentially to such an economic downturn. I wouldn't even say downturn, economic suffering. It is marked by a sharp decrease in industrial production, widespread unemployment, and a significant reduction in international trade and capital movements. Is that not what we're seeing right now? They'll have you believe something else. Like Cypher in the Matrix. Yeah, have another piece of steak. They don't want to see the desert of the real. Companies reduce their production and shut down their manufacturing factories, resulting in fewer exports. Note that a recession is not the same as a depression. Moreover, recessions can be restricted geographically, while depressions may affect many countries. Is that not what's happening right now? All these countries are sort of interconnected in a myriad of very vital ways. And they are all suffering at the same time. This is why I didn't understand certain actions against nations that Western nations depend on, knowing that they would suffer themselves. At least their people would suffer. And now their people are suffering. So taking those sort of authoritative actions against those nations was essentially shooting yourself in the foot, quite literally. which then has to make the people beg the question, do these politicians care about them? Right? The people should ask that question. I already know the answer to that question. Note that a recession is not the same. Okay, we read that part. Wait a minute, you guys messing up. You almost read the same part twice. That's right. I'm going to blame you for it. Oh, man. The Great Depression of the 1930s, skyrocketing unemployment, falling wages. That's questionable. Large declines in GDP. So you have to take into account how much everything costs, because see now what certain states are doing, they're going to try to raise unemployment a little bit. But it's like, what difference does it make? That tiny little raise doesn't mean anything when prices are blowing everything out the water, when prices are exploding across the board. And it has to be that way because small businesses in certain sectors, small business, the price they're paying for everything has exploded exponentially. It's mind-blowing what they're paying for certain things. And so they have to raise their prices significantly to stay in business, this is a terrible thing because most of the consumers don't understand that. So then the consumers are becoming upset with the businesses. And so then the consumers stop, purchasing things from the business. Now the business is doubly hurt. And you know why a lot of consumers don't understand that? Because the school systems are terrible in the West. Across the board, they're more interested in making you some drone to go work at some job and take orders rather than teaching you, fundamental economics, everything you need to know to be a independent thinker, work for yourself, earn a living by the sweat of your own brow. Make decisions on your own. They're not interested in that. So they don't teach things like this. So a lot of consumers don't understand. Oh, and not only that, but to add on, you have a lot of figures will say that then they say, well, they blame the businesses. They say, oh, the businesses are price gouging. And don't get me wrong. There's some businesses that might price gouge. But if you are one of the people that are running a business and you see what's going on behind the scenes that the consumers don't see, you're saying what? A lot of businesses are saying you're lucky we're still in business. Let's cover this a little bit here. Obviously, this is significant to Stellar XLM as Velo, as I uncovered before. If you didn't see that video 2-3 videos ago, the XLM video, make sure you watch that. So Interstellar, which is the for-profit wing of Stellar, pretty much is Velo. They have all their team members are on the board of Velo, including Mike Kennedy, who moved over and is the head of Velo Labs. Okay, Velo Labs has combined with LightNet, is working with LightNet, and also is merging with EveryNet. All right, so now you have this here. Velo Perpetuals is coming to VeloFinance.io on September 15th, 2022. This feature allows you to level up your digital assets with futures trading. So this is happening on the Stellar blockchain. Velo is on Stellar, which means what? Because some people say, what's on Stellar? Everything on Stellar has to hold, every account has to hold a minimum of lumens, and all the traffic across Stellar will trigger surge pricing. So any volume and any value is good for us. This is all lending towards the expansion and domination of XLM. This is just one thing. We have CBDCs in line, payroll, bevy of banks that are hopefully going to continue forward with the utilization of XLM, LightNet, EveryNet, Velo, Interstellar, Stellar Foundation. That's just a few. So this is significant. This is very, very good. Velo has been exploding with information. I think also they had another announcement about the merger with EveryNet. Remember with EveryNet, and I know that Stellar just came out with something. It was either today or yesterday about smart contracts. But remember, EveryNet allows you to utilize smart contracts as well on Stellar with Velo, or I think pretty much however you want. You just have to reach out to them and they'll help you to implement those smart contracts. Don't quote me on the details, but you have to reach out to them. But this is what they're saying. This is what they bring to the table. Smart contracts. So you have a myriad of ways to utilize smart contracts on Stellar, not just one. This is why I've been trying to tell people. This is the beauty of being decentralized. Anybody can build on you, on that blockchain. Anybody can use it, and they have been. This is good if we want to take as much money from all of these markets as possible. If we want that price to go as high as possible, it behooves us to have a ton of companies building on that particular blockchain, a ton of volume, and high transaction value. And when it comes to something like Stellar, you want as many entities and individuals using it as possible. Also, they have something with the MoneyGram. I don't think I have it up here. But I believe Stellar put that out. They did more tweets on MoneyGram. So MoneyGram has a thing where they're trying to bring in more companies to utilize that particular offering, which in my humble opinion, it reminds me a lot of the offering that Ripple did with Santander, but maybe that's just my perspective. But that's great advertisement, because no matter what people want to say, MoneyGram does have a name. So if they're trying to put Stellar blockchain out there, that's going to bring more eyes to the Stellar blockchain, more businesses that could possibly utilize Stellar and XLM. Of course, XLM is a native token. Everybody has to use XLM. Like I said, to hold an account, you have to have a minimum of lumens. It's used to create that friction, so it's always going to be utilized. Not only that, surge pricing, don't you ever forget, it's going to cause that price to spike when everything is ready to go off and they flip that switch. So you have all of that happening with XLM right now, and it's only the beginning. Oh, we have some great news, I think, that's going to be coming out, because there's so many panels. Maybe I phrased that wrong, but I'm hoping that great news is coming out. There's so many important panels that Stellar is going to be on that the esteemed Denell Dixon is a part of. And we definitely will be bringing you that news here. Not only myself, but a lot of my peers. They've been doing a great job. They're going to be bringing you Stellar news as well. We all win. Oh, yeah. We're on a winning team right now. I love it. All right, so let's go here with a little bit of Algorand news. So this is from Cointelegraph.com. It was tweeted out by Algorand. It says Algorand and upgrade boosts speed as adds trustless cross-chain communication. So let's read this little tidbit here. It says proof of stake, or pure proof of stake, blockchain Algorand has introduced cross-chain communication and transaction speed improvements with latest upgrade to its protocol. The Layer 1 blockchain network announced the implementation of state proofs to its main net, which introduces oh my goodness, I messed up. Which introduces trustless communication between different blockchain protocols. The upgrade also increased Algorand's processing speed from 1,200 to 6,000 transactions per second. We covered that before. So Algorand is becoming an absolute beast. That price is going to explode. Look at the banks they're bringing in. You did read that article by Coinbase, didn't you? And the great part is they're going to be putting out more information. So you have Coinbase bringing some banks to the table. You have Algorand working on their new accelerator in Europe. They have another accelerator, I believe. Are they doing another accelerator in Miami? That was also something. They have so much going on. They have advertisement everywhere. They have what was that? The decentralized music that they're doing. They have Napster. They have LimeWire. All types of great NFT platforms. So then you also have things like Opulous. This is another tweet from Algorand. You know, Opulous is built on Algorand. And it says Opulous announces a roadmap update for 2022-2023. It says MFT Launchpad, MFT Staking, MFT Exchange, Royalty Vault, Ambassador Program. Look at this, they're doing major things. It says everyone at Opulous, from the team to the community, has played an integral part in the company's growth. With the crypto industry constantly evolving, we're pleased to announce our roadmap for the remainder of 2022. Whatever the market conditions, the Opulous team remains committed to becoming the top music blockchain platform in the world. I want that music money. Algorand's doing such a great job. I'm very excited about it. Like I said, people have a ton of Algorand. It doesn't take a crazy price for people to see healthy return on investment at this particular time. And we couldn't have possibly a better setup. Oh, did I cover this the other day? I don't know what I covered the other day. Like when I get on camera, I'm just being organic. Half the time, I don't remember what the heck I covered, because I've already moved on to so many new articles. I have like maybe 4 PDFs that I'm probably going to make into a members only video either tomorrow or the next day. I will be putting out a members only video. It's going to be a potent one. So much information I have. But Stacey Wharton, that's what I was going to get to. Stacey Wharton is going to be on a bevy of panels coming up. There's going to be a lot of good information coming out of there. I told you about the Stacey Wharton effect, didn't I? And look at how Algorand has exploded since Stacey Wharton has been doing what it is that she does, which is win. I know a winner. So you have things like this here. It says an important part of our vision is to develop a cohesive music-centered platform for artists and investors. I think we're going to dominate in the music industry. I really do. Artists have loved being independent. They make more money being independent. And through these means here, they can have even more control over their destiny. Who doesn't want that? You already see a whole lot of the artists were selling their music as NFTs, and they made a ton of money selling their music as NFTs. They're going to make even more. We're going to go even further. So, okay, let's end off here. Last but certainly not least, we're going to end off with a little bit of XDC news. And it goes as such. Of course, this is in relation to the Ethereum upgrade. It says Zenfin's founders knew back in 2018 the proof of stake. That proof of stake was key to bringing enterprise and institutional actors on board, particularly in trade finance. Over the past year and a half, XDC has achieved key milestones in the space, including being named as the blockchain member of the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative. Do you see where XDC's price is right now? Do you understand the trillions that they will move? That price is not staying where it is. It's my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't want to be. And it doesn't matter to me whether you buy or sell. I'm just speaking what is logical, I believe, based on the information we have been presented. Let me read that again. It says XDC was named as the blockchain member of the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative, the TFDI. Oh, it's going to win. XDC is going to explode. They're going to win. They've been working with governments, with banks. I mean, they can't lose. They've been winning the whole time. I expect it to continue. It says, and becoming home to an increasing number of layer 2 projects. One of those projects, Trada, is allowing both retail and institutional investors increased access to trade finance as an instrument class. Like Ethereum, XDC is open sourced, EVM compatible, and developer focused. To be used for sensitive data and transactions. Remember, I think XDC was the one that has upgraded their security to military grade security. And it was both XDC and Hedera both upgraded their security at the same time to unfathomable levels that banks and governments, large business institutions will find absolutely delicious. Security is an issue. There's a reason I'm saying that. Don't worry. Members only video coming in the next 2 days. Just give me a little bit of time. It says, in fact, to take security to an unparalleled level. Didn't I just say that? I said unfathomable. To an unparalleled level, XDC's protocol team is currently testing XDPOS 2.0, which will be launched in an earlier part of next year. XDPOS 2.0 will root out bad actors by incorporating forensics holistically, meaning that internal mechanisms will identify and automatically root out malicious master nodes. This can't be said of any other blockchain currently in existence, including those in the production and design stages. This is mind-blowing. The fact that we're in so early on XDC, I am so glad I'm ready with XDC. Oh, I'm ready, by the way. I know what XDC can do. You see, it's one of those things like XDC and Quant were two of those coins before I brought them into my thinking, brought them into the bank coin family. In my thinking, okay. I watched them for a long time. I wanted to make sure that they were bank coins. And I observed all their moves, Quant and XDC, and they made all the right moves. And now I am certain, in my humble opinion, it's my humble opinion, but I am certain, given time, of course, that because of everything they've done, all the partnerships that they've done, because of what comprises XDC Zenfin network, that price is going to skyrocket like no one would believe. And it doesn't take a crazy price, because people have a ton of XDC. It doesn't take a crazy price for them to see a healthy return on investment. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing my humble opinion. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.